Hey folks, Eric Prey, Focus Fishing Guide Service. Got another video fishing report for you for Table Rock. It is Tuesday, October the 8th. Been on the water pretty much every day for the last 7 days. Been busy, bites changing, things are moving around. We got some cooler weather in finally. As far as our lake level is concerned, we're at 915.77, which puts us about 1.23 feet down, so we're still down a little bit. We got 3 inches of rain down here in the lake area over the weekend. It is still coming up, but the core is running water, so hopefully we'll get back a little bit closer to 917. Just hard to say at this point. I think a lot of the rain went to our south and is probably affecting beaver and some of the other lakes, and it'll depend on how much they release out of there, whether or not Table Rock comes up. Water temperature is a big deal though. We went from low 80s at the end of last week to yesterday I was seeing 76, 77. Today seeing 75, 76. So the water is cooling off. It was 42 degrees last night. It's supposed to be cool the rest of the week. Going to have some more rain move in towards the end of the week, and it'll be a cool, cold rain again. So our water temperature is definitely dropping, and it does have the fish moving. It's got the bait moving. Everything we've been waiting for is starting to happen. So that being said, if you guys are coming down, so you're going to fish the lower end of the lake, still keep a topwater handy. Spook, Sammy, Whopper, Plopper, Surge, Shad, whatever you like to throw. Have that handy. The last couple of days, the topwater bite has not been great. I think it's still because we're under the effects of that, the after effects of the cold front, but they should start chasing a topwater a lot more. We have seen a lot more shad move shallow, especially towards the backs of the creeks. Keep your topwater handy. Our best bite the last couple of days has been shallow with a jig or a shaky head or a Ned rig. Throwing the Jewel Pro Spider jig, we're throwing the Jewel Pee Wee football jig, throwing the Jewel Squirrel head, and we're throwing the Jewel Ned head. All those have been picking up fish, and a Bass Pro Tender Tube too. All those have been picking up fish early, as shallow as 5 feet deep. As the sun comes up, you got to back out. Keep your boat in about 20, and most of those fish are coming in about 10 to 15 foot deep once the sun gets up. But definitely have something you can fish on the bottom. Catching a lot of fish doing that. Still catching a few on a drop shot if you're so inclined. Shad, shape, cut tail, UV, drop shot worm. Most of those fish are on gravel, on those long gravel points, gravel runouts out there in about 23 to about 35 foot deep. But I really think that bite's probably going to start going away pretty fast, so keep that in mind. Going to the Kimberling City area, same deal. Keep a topwater handy. Have a topwater laying on your deck. The topwater bite should get better as these fish adjust to this cooler water. Look for the shad. Most of the shad are going to be moving towards the backs of the creeks. So look for the shad halfway to all the way to the back of the creeks. Spook, Sammy, Whopper, Plopper, whatever you like to throw, have that handy. Again, we've been catching them on a jig, Jewel Pro Spider jig. Been catching them on a Pee Wee football jig. Been catching them on the regular football jig. All those bites are going to continue to be good. Most of these fish are coming on gravel mixed with rock, and most of them have been fairly shallow early, less than 10 feet deep early. Back out 10 to 15 to 20 feet once the sun comes out. Gravel mixed with rock. Points have been a little bit better than banks, but we have been catching quite a few on that. Catching them on a squirrel head, catching them on a Ned head, catching them on a tube as well. Keep that handy, those same locations. If you're out here on a day like today where it's post-frontal, you got bluebird sky, no clouds, very little bit of wind, switch up to a tube, switch up to a Ned head, switch up to a shaky head. You'll get a lot more bites doing that. And then the drop shot rig. Still, if you guys are so inclined to drop shot, you can still catch them on a drop shot out on those gravel runouts, just like down by the dam. 25 to 35 seems to be the magic depth. Just kind of work your way around and find them. Go up into the James where I am right now. Jig, and more jig. Catching them on a Jewel Pro Spider jig. Catching them on a Jewel football jig. Catching them on a Jewel Pee Wee football jig. You know the colors: Okeechobee blue, green pumpkin candy, watermelon candy, matched up with a speed crawl. Most of these fish are shallow. They're going to be less than 10 feet deep early. They'll move out to 10 to 15 once the sun comes up. Gravel mixed with rock has been key, or channel swing banks back in the creeks. Keep that in mind. Catching them on a shaky head as well, the Jewel Squirrel head, catching them on the Jewel Ned head too. Basically working those banks 10 to 15 foot deep once the sun comes up, shallower first thing in the morning. Have your topwater handy. They're still didn't bust real good today, but they should be busting by the end of the week, so keep that in mind. Spinnerbait bite, we haven't caught them on a spinnerbait since this water's cooled down, but I would definitely say probably by the weekend, once these fish get a little bit more acclimated, shad get moved up shallow, you're going to want to have either a War Eagle spinnerbait, or you're going to want to have a square bill tied on and catch those fish up shallow, because a lot of them have been surprisingly shallow already with this water cooling off and with the temperature change. So keep that in mind. Go up into the White River. White River is going to be a blast. Haven't been up there since the temperature change. I've been the dam, I've been here, kind of worked my way towards Kimberling City both days, but I'm sure the White River's turned on. It's probably got a little bit more color to it because of the amount of rain they got in northwest Arkansas, and it'll probably have some more current once they start opening up the dam at Beaver, so keep that in mind. But you're definitely going to want to have a jig tied on. Jewel Pro Spider jig, Jewel football jig, Jewel Pee-wee football jig. All those will be working, matched up with a speed craw or a J-tail. Same depth. I'm going to say they're going to be shallow, probably less than 10 feet deep early. Once the sun comes up, 10 to 15, maybe as deep as 20 if you're in some clearer water, on those gravel mixed with rock points. That's where those fish are going to be. Top water as well. Have it tied on, have it laying on your deck, be ready with it. Spook, Sammy, Whopper, Plopper, Surge, Shad, probably more towards the backs of the creeks or some of those bigger creeks where you've got some standing timber on them. I'd definitely be throwing it at that if you see some shad present. And then drop shot, of course, shad shape, cut tail, UV drop shot worm, all those will be working as well. That bite will continue on. It'll slow a little bit once these fish get acclimated and start moving up shallow, but it'll pick back up in November and December, so keep that in mind as well. And then again, a spinnerbait and crankbait bite, square bill bite. Once these fish get acclimated, they get up on the banks. I'm thinking Friday, since it's supposed to be cloudy and rainy, there'll probably be a pretty decent spinnerbait bite going on. So keep that in mind if you guys are fishing on Friday, or if that weather pattern holds over the weekend. You'll probably want to have a War Eagle spinnerbait or a square bill tied on to take advantage of those fish being up shallow chasing shad. Guys, we are through the first week of October. We finally have fall. Fall is finally here. The bite is turning on. Been pretty good the last couple of days, even though we're post-frontal. Once these fish get adjusted, I really think this bite's going to turn on. So keep that in mind. If you guys are coming down, maybe you got a derby coming up, you want to have a little bit of an edge on your competition, good idea. Give me a call. We'll go out and do that. Had a couple of guys yesterday. They're here for a week on vacation. First day they're in town. Went out. I put them on a couple of different patterns, and now they're out catching fish all week having fun. Another good idea. Maybe you just want to go fishing. Maybe you want to learn a new technique. Whatever it is, if you want to go fishing, want to hire a guide, give me a call. It's Focus Fishing Guide Service. You can reach me at 417-860-4743 or hit my website, focusfishing.com, and either book online or shoot me an email. Either way, I get back to you as soon as I can. We get hooked up, go out and have a good time, catch some fish. Guys, thanks for watching the videos. Again, if you haven't subscribed, please take a minute to subscribe. But thanks for watching. Can't wait to hear from you. We'll see you on the water.